Sahara Velvet, inspired by Velvet Desert Oud, the magical conquest of the desert. The aroma opens on a heady wave of incense, following with a sweaty and attractive musk and oud wood, adding a rich, woody and nutty fragrance, ending with amber and Tuscany leather, giving off a delicious, resinous, cosy and crumbly note. This composition surrounds you with a pleasant and warm aroma that keeps you going even on the busiest of days. I've got a boner. Word to your mother. My name's Steve and this channel is FRAG30 and thank you for tuning in. I love you for doing so. Today I'm going to be showing you a relatively new clone house called Rosa Salas. Now I have shown you a couple of their fragrances in the past. I've shown you their Aventus clone, which was actually alright, but the trouble is obviously there's a million of the bastards, so it's hard to stand out, to be honest. And I've also shown you their version of Tom Ford's Fucking Fabulous, which I really enjoyed. Now, I compared it against the original and it was really similar, but it was just a really nice fragrance to wear, and it made much better value than the Tom Ford version, which I just don't think is worth the money, to be honest, but there you go. Now today I'm going to show you their version of D&G's Velvet Desert Oud. So the Rosa Salas version is called Sahara Velvet. It comes in a few different size options. You can get 30ml for £20 or you can get 50ml for £29.95, and there are some smaller like 10ml type sizes. Now normally I'm not one to kind of go, let's look at the packaging and then kind of show you all about that. I'm a fuck the box kind of guy, which I'm sure you probably inferred. But I've got to say the packaging from these guys is actually fairly decent, especially for a clone house. So I feel like I kind of need to show you, and I wouldn't be doing them justice if I kind of didn't show you the packaging, because I was quite impressed, I've got to say. So let's look at the packaging. So this is how the Rosa Salas fragrance arrives. It's in a nice cylindrical box, which is fairly solid, made out of like cardboard. And as you can see, the gold detailing and the logo, it just lends itself to a really nice sort of classy feel. You don't feel like you're getting like a cheap clone. You feel like you're, buying a quality fragrance, which you are, to be fair. They do use really high ingredients and it is, really well blended. So, but it just adds to the feel. So you don't, feel like you're cutting corners as much when you're kind of, something like this arrives. Take the lid off, so it's a really nice sort of chunky lid. Inside the bottle is actually held in there with some moulded foam, so it doesn't kind of rattle around in there too much, it's not getting battered. Let's fuck the box. The bottle is a nice solid chunky glass that's square. It's got Rosa Salas printed on there, that's not stuck on, that's printed. But the name of the fragrance is stuck on, so they've obviously got loads of bottles, which kind of makes sense. And then they just sort of stick the label on there, whichever's going into the bottle, which kind of makes sense. Can't hate them for that. What's a really nice touch is there's actually a signature on the glass, which I'm hoping you can sort of just about pick up on the camera there. And that really lends itself. I really found that endearing when I saw that. It's kind of a really nice quality touch, that they've like taken pride in this, so much so that they would, they want to put a signature onto the bottle. And that again just has a really nice sort of endearing touch to it, I found. The bottle, other than that, and the atomizer is fairly standard. It's quite nice and chunky, it's got some good weight to it. And the atomizer is perfectly good with a really nice spray. I don't know if you can get that on the camera, but it's a really nice sort of wide mist, but it's not so wide or fine that you feel like you're not, you can barely feel when the fragrance is being applied. You can certainly feel it, and it sort of puts quite a significant amount on there. So yeah, on the whole, I was really chuffed and impressed with the packaging, particularly for a clone house. You don't feel like you're cutting corners or you're getting a cheap kind of clone when something like this arrives. Now normally when I review clones, I always get a sample of the original to compare it side by side. I wear one on each arm and kind of break down the differences. Now I'm not going to do that today, and that's for two reasons. The first reason is the guys at Rosa Salas have actually tweaked the note sort of breakdown ever so slightly to the original, so it really is inspired by and not an exact copy. And the second reason is I couldn't get hold of a fucking sample. So the note breakdown of the original is fairly simple, at least according to FRAG30. There's only 4 notes listed. There's incense, there's oud, there's amber, and there's musk. Now apparently the original also has a leathery or leather accord, but there's no note listed, at least not on FRAG30. Now I don't know, I've not smelled the original, so by all means comment below and let me know, is there a leather accord in the original? But what the guys at Rosa Salas have done is they've taken that leather and they've emphasised it and they've run with it. So they've actually added leather into the mix kind of officially in the note breakdown, as you may have kind of got from the intro, and they've kind of emphasised it, and it's become quite a prominent note in this mix. So from the note breakdown, you might be, you know, some of you might be put off because you might think this sounds quite heavy or dark or a bit too rich. And in all honesty, it's not. The opening, you will get some incense and you get like the slightest hint of oud. But don't be put off. I'm not a big oud fan, and it certainly doesn't put me off. It's not too barnyardy, it's not too strong or too full on. It's a very subtle oud that just gives it like a slight woody feel. So don't kind of be put off by that at all. And then the leather though, the leather is very, very prominent. It's a really nice, luxurious Tuscany leather. It's not the sort of standard leather you might find in a lot of manly fragrances like Armani Code Profumo. It is a very rich, luxurious leather, and in this kind of formulation, it helps to kind of give the fragrance actually a bit of a lift and some sort of almost freshness to it. Now, as I said, this is not a dark, rich, heavy fragrance that you might suspect, but conversely, this is not a summer freshie, so kind of manage your expectations there. But it is a really lovely, lovely scent, I've got to say. I've really enjoyed it. It's quite a versatile scent in many ways, but it's because it's not too dark, it's not too rich, it's not too heavy, it's not too light, it's not too fresh. But it is very manly, and it's a very mature, sophisticated fragrance. Now, when I say mature, I don't mean kind of, you know, an old man. I'm saying like over 25. It's somebody that's kind of got their shit together. That's kind of the impression I get from this fragrance. As I said, the leather in this fragrance is very prominent, but it is a very rich, luxurious leather that certainly reminds me of the likes of Tuscan leather and ombre leather. So to me, that is a good yardstick when you're considering, you know, if you should get this fragrance or not. If you really enjoy ombre leather, I think you'll really enjoy this one. And if you don't like ombre leather, you probably won't kind of enjoy this, to be honest, because at least to my nose, that leather is very prominent, but it's not over the top. It's kind of quite well blended. It's a very smooth mix. And I say the oud kind of gives it a slight woody, kind of rich feel to it. Performance-wise on this, I got, it was fairly standard, to be honest. I was certainly not overwhelmed or underwhelmed by it. I got 1 to 2 hours of projection, and I got about 5 to 6 hours of longevity. What I will say is the projection is fairly soft. It wears fairly close, almost like an EDP. It's not so close that you can't smell it. I certainly smelt it during those 5 to 6 hours, but it's not a beast projector, so you don't have to worry too much about kind of choking people out or anything like that. And that lends itself to some nice situations. As I said, this is quite a mature, sophisticated, kind of luxurious scent, which I think would work really well on a date in a nice restaurant. Similarly, it wouldn't be out of place in an office because it's not going to choke anybody out. It breeds this kind of air of sophistication and kind of authority, or kind of having your shit together. That works quite well in an office, I found as well. So would I recommend this fragrance? The answer is yes. It's a really nice, mature, luxurious, manly fragrance. It's kind of this biscuity, rich, almost nutty kind of leather, woody fragrance. It's a really nice fragrance. I've really enjoyed wearing it, and it's the sort of fragrance where you do just keep wanting to kind of smell it. It's just kind of lures you in, and you want to just keep giving it a whiff. So yes, I wholeheartedly recommend it. I emphasise I've been comparing it to ombre leather, but they don't smell the same. I've just been using that as a yardstick because of that Tuscany leather kind of accord, which is really prominent in this. So just use that as a yardstick. If you don't like ombre leather, you're probably not going to like this. But on the flip side, if you like that, you'll really enjoy this one. The good news is I can offer you some discounts. So there's a discount code, I'll put the details below, but it is FRAG to Riches, so there's no S in it, so just remember that. And that will give you 20% off at the Rosa Salas website. So by all means use that, and you can check this out and get 20% off and all of the other fragrances. So I hope you found this video helpful. If you have, please hit the like button, and if you haven't already done so, please hit the subscribe button. Both of those things help me grow the channel and reach my next milestone, which is 2,000 subscribers. If you have smelt the original, by all means comment below and let me know. Does it have a leather accord? Have they kind of emphasised it too much in this? I don't know, I've not smelt the original, but I do know that this is a really nice fragrance. It's a really nice, manly, sophisticated fragrance that I enjoy wearing, and it offers great value for money, particularly with a discount code. But is there any other versions or clones out there that you would recommend that you've tried and you think are, you know, sound as good as this one? Let me know. Thank you again for watching. I do appreciate it, and I will see you for the next one. Much love.